What is up, my fellow Chibits? Today, once again, I'm here to bring all of you a weekly anime review of The Lost Village, Episode 7. So, I know this is out on a Saturday. This is not out on a Friday night, which that's when this aired. The reason for that is because I decided to, get some sleep last night, kind of slowly try to correct my sleep schedule because it's been rather fucked up for this entire week. And so, yeah, I waited until, Saturday to do the review on this series. But regardless of that, though, I just finished this episode, and then I'm going to quickly dive into the Kisnaiver episode. But this right here, this episode, okay. That ending, that fucking ending, that is the biggest fucking middle finger. That's legit one of the biggest middle fingers I have seen, I think, all year long. From anime or manga in general. That is a very, very big dick move that this series just pulled with that final part of the episode. Yeah, Masaki, she's like, oh, I will tell you everything. It's ending song. And I'm like, okay. I was a little bit pissed off. Let's just, let's put it there, okay? There might have been a little bit of screaming here and there, or pissed off, because of all times to end an episode, you do it right there. In mid-fucking conversation. Like, are you fucking serious right now? Like, are you really? Anyways, okay, so, Masaki, she's about to get killed, and, I gotta be the one to say, I've been the one since the very beginning, since the first episode of this series coming out, been constantly saying we need the characters to start dying off. Like, we need to see people slit each other's throats, we need to see people break each other's necks, we need to see all this sorts of violence, like Higurashi-type violence. And it's starting to happen. I mean, we have a trial going on, Masaki's tied up again on a cross, and she's about to get stabbed, and oddly enough, this kind of reminds me of a situation of Higurashi, which I'm not going to spoil anything, but that's exactly what this reminds me of, and I'm like, everybody's getting Higurashi syndrome, that's exactly what's going on. Like, you see everybody going fucking nuts, trying to figure out if she's a ghost or not, and I'm like, dude, this is fucking Higurashi, they're going fucking crazy. It's like, is this secretly a spin-off of Higurashi, to where all the characters are going fucking mentally insane and starting to kill each other? Like, is this what's going on? I'm about to see characters, stabbing each other, shit, like, holy crap, is this about to happen? And sadly enough, it didn't happen. You just saw a little slight cut on Masaki's arm. I was like, oh fuck, okay, that's it for this episode. Don't worry, we'll wait till next week until we get some more heads rolling. But jokes aside, okay, violent jokes aside, that right there, no chill, that's not cool. That's not cool what everybody's doing to Masaki, okay? Like, all shits and giggles aside with, the jokes and stuff, they are really fucking antsy right now. Like, everybody is so paranoid. They're already labeling Masaki as the ghost. And in human nature, I guess it's in a way a coping mechanism. I think that's what they're trying to do. But still, it's rather annoying seeing so many people just freaking out. I was like, oh, she's a ghost, and try to stab her and all that. Like, they're dead set that she's a ghost and wanting to kill her and stuff. Some are against it, but they're not really stopping anyone. And I'm like, what the fuck? And eventually, at the end of the episode, Mitsumune comes in and punches his fucking friend in the face. I'm like, bro, yes! And episode pretty much ends right there, and I'm like, fuck. So, let's talk about this. Mitsumune has his past revealed. In this, that's kind of sad. I will admit, when it comes to the flashback of this episode, it's way better than how last week's episode was done. Like, last week's episode was just like, yeah. It was, yeah. And this, it wasn't amazing, but it was way better than the previous episode. Because I like the way Mitsumune's past was kind of handled. I do. I like how it was mainly the core focus of the episode. I really enjoy that. Now, let's talk about it. Mitsumune, he had a twin brother. A twin brother that looked exactly like him, and his brother was called Tokimune. And we gotta find out his brother died. Okay, the brother died, and it was an accidental death. His brother was a little bit of a tomboy, or actually, he was just a boy that was just doing boy-type things, going out playing and all that with action figures, getting ahead of himself. And Mitsumune was the type of, person that was rather shy type. As a shy type, kept to himself, and he didn't want to be as adventurous as his other brother, Tokimune. And Tokimune, he did some stuff against what his mom wished him to do. He got on top of a railing on top of a building, and then he fell off, and you can kind of guess what happened after that. Probably, you know, died on impact. So, Tokimune died. And we get to get a little bit of a flash forward, and the mother of Tokimune and Mitsumune went a little bit off the rails. She's a little bit crazy, and she's looking at Mitsumune like, hey, Tokimune! She's calling Mitsumune Tokimune, you know, the brother that's deceased. And we get to see how through his entire life, like the entirety of his life, Mitsumune has to live with his dead brother's name. And that right there is so fucked up on so many levels. That's so fucked up, because in a way it's like saying Mitsumune doesn't matter. That's how I would feel if I was Mitsumune and my mother was calling me Tokimune, my dead brother, but she completely forgot about Mitsumune. I would feel like she didn't care about me. I'd feel like she never cared about me to begin with, and that I wasn't loved, and maybe I'm the one that's pretty much dead to begin with. Maybe Tokimune never died, it's just Mitsumune. Maybe she would have been better, it would have been better if Mitsumune died instead of Tokimune. That's how I would have thought if I was him in his situation, because, seriously, if your mother's straight up doing that, that's gonna fuck your mind up. That really would fuck your mind up as a kid. That was probably the type of thoughts he's going through right now. I mean, that's what I think normally people would think. Honestly, if you're in that situation, your mother's saying that, a kid's gonna think. And he goes through his entire life, through elementary, middle, and then high school life, betraying himself as a different type of name. You know that's gonna be on his records. And when he probably graduates, he's probably gonna have the name Tokimune as well. So it's kind of fucked up. It really is. So, Tokimune's passed. I feel bad because he never got to be himself. He had to be a different person. He had to be his dead brother. And holding that weight on your shoulders is something I don't think anyone deserves at all. And that right there, that fucking hit me. I was like, damn, that's a pretty sad backstory. That really is. I mean, it's not the best thing ever, but that's a sad backstory. You can say what you want, but I feel like that's pretty sad. I mean, just imagine if you had to live a life like that. So, the backstory of Mitsumune, it made me respect his character a whole lot more and seeing what he's went through. And it makes me understand now why he wanted to come here to begin with, because he wanted to be called by his actual real name. He didn't want to be called Tokimune anymore. He wanted people to recognize him for who he is, and he didn't want to play the part of someone else. I respect that. I completely respect that when it comes to his character. So, I can respect Mitsumune a whole lot more after this episode. So, regardless of that, that's pretty much it when it comes to this episode of The Lost Village. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.